I want to thank CuriosityStream for sponsoring this video. So 30 days ago, I started journaling. And when I say journaling, I mean pouring my thoughts onto paper, not bullet journaling or scrapbooking or anything of the sort. Old classic journaling. Here's the fun thing. I did some journaling a couple of years ago using a prompt 5-minute journal, and besides that experience, I've never really journaled. I think it was an activity that always made me feel very overwhelmed and even a bit scared. It can be really daunting to see your thoughts and innermost feelings poured onto paper. In a way, they become more real when you write them down. You see, people journal for a lot of different reasons. To inspire creativity, to self-reflect, to feel more organized, to avoid stress and anxiety, and even just for the sole purpose of recording memories and events. A 2005 study on the emotional and physical health benefits of expressive writing concludes that expressive writing can be used as a therapeutic tool, as a means of self-help, allowing you to organize and structure your memories as well as reflect on past events. But self-reflection and self-help aren't the only benefits of journaling. Another study from 2008 concluded that journal writing improves academic autonomy and the ability to research on a particular subject that comes to mind without external motivation. Journaling also helps in building identity and adopting a reflective tone about current events and daily experiences. And the benefits go even further. In 2016, the Journal of Nursing Education and Practice published a study indicating that journaling could have a positive impact on the degree of compassion satisfaction, burnout and trauma, or compassion fatigue present in registered nurses. This last year has been challenging to say the least, and the world is changing a lot. I thought that improving self-reflection and pouring my thoughts onto paper was a good practice to start 2021. Not only because of the events that are unfolding, but also because of the changes that are slowly shaping our lives into different things. I feel like in 2020, I've made important decisions that I would never have made if I didn't start looking at the world through a different lens, the coronavirus lens. And why not boost this self-reflection period with a daily practice that would help me reflect better and more methodically? So that's why the 30-day journaling challenge started. Let's start with the practical part. For this challenge, I used a simple-lined Moleskine notebook and a black fine liner. The goal was to really go in-depth in terms of creative writing and journaling, and avoid worrying about the quality of my handwriting, the graphic aspect of journaling, as well as any other visual elements. So the main goal was to write every single day, independently of how long I would write. What I wanted was to avoid turning journaling into a chore, or something I disliked doing, as I was being forced to write several entries in a row. I also avoided any type of prompts. Although I do enjoy journaling with prompts, and I've done it in the past using a 5-minute journal, I wanted to challenge myself to really be able to come up with my own ideas and write about what was on my mind. I also decided I didn't want a fixed time to write. After all, I'm still working from home after a year trying to juggle everything in a tiny apartment. So if I felt the need to write a quick entry during lunch break, before bed, or right after I woke up, I couldn't stop myself from doing so. Finally, I wanted to create a clear division between journaling and planning. Although the entries I wrote were built upon thoughts in my mind during the day, I made sure I wasn't writing trivial things or saying what happened during the day. If I need to know what happened in a specific day, I just have to open up Google Calendar or my paper planner and see what tasks and events occurred in that day. Summarizing events doesn't really help you on going more in-depth, as it tends to be an unnatural way to go for a more reflective tone. So let's talk about the results of my experience. At the end of the month, I basically ended up with entries that were as long as 2 entire pages, and other entries that were just composed of 1 or 2 paragraphs. Overall, most of my entries were basically reflections of random thoughts I had during the day, sparked by conversations I had or something I read somewhere. Some of these were almost like small essays, and I definitely feel like some of these entries, although they were written out of the blue, could turn into entire YouTube videos or blog posts. I also made sure I titled each one of my entries. If there was a different topic I wanted to write about, I would close that entry and write a different one under the same timestamp. One of the things I really noticed with this challenge and in January 2021 was that time went by very slowly. Since the pandemic started, I've been feeling like time is flying, but for the first time in like a year, it was like everything suddenly slowed down, and I was really savoring the small things. Maybe, this has nothing to do with the journaling practice, or maybe it has. Time is relative. I was also surprised by a strong feeling of identity. At the end of the month, I had more than 30 entries that expressed my questions, musings, and doubts about the world. And this time they were finally recorded, instead of lost in my thoughts or in the middle of a conversation. Having all of those thoughts written on paper for the first time was like seeing my personality on those pages. Externalizing my thoughts and then reading them again was a weird ritual of self-knowledge. I was also very surprised that I had an opinion on so many things. My journal entries go from toxic complaining to musings about the absence of control to me rambling on how the Queen's Gambit could be so much better. While this may seem a bit pointless, as I do not intend to share like 90% of my journal with anyone else, and in that sense share my opinions, it's like by writing them down I'm confirming what I think about a certain subject, instead of letting my feelings on a certain issue just float around with no specific direction or destination. Also, as I'm strengthening my opinions and feelings on a specific subject, I'm giving myself direction and answering questions in a process. If I prioritize certain things in writing through a process of self-reflection, I'm showing myself what I value, and using those findings helps clarify some of the decisions I have to make, or the perspective I need to use in life. Free journaling instead of journaling with prompts was absolutely essential to reach these conclusions. Using prompts can be a great way to start a conversation with yourself in a sense, as you're being pushed to write and get those creative juices flowing. But it can also hinder you from going behind those prompts and explore a little bit more what is in your mind. If you've never tried journaling before, I highly recommend you to try it out. Just pick a style and go with it. You can also jump from prompts to free-form journaling whenever you want, but I think that this is a great time to start reflecting on things and thinking whether we are going the right direction or if we are just so caught up in our routines that we've forgotten where we were supposed to go. In case you're curious on how I journal with prompts with the 5-minute journal, I will link that video down below in the description box. But if you want to watch that video without the ads, as well as your favorite YouTube's educational and productivity videos, then you can start watching Nebula, an ad-free streaming video platform built by and for independent creators like me, Thomas Frank, Ali Abdal, Study to Success, Legal Eagle, Real Engineering, and so on, featuring a bunch of exclusives and ad-free content you can't find anywhere else. And the more interesting thing about this opportunity is that we've teamed up with CuriosityStream. That means that with your CuriosityStream account, which is really affordable by the way, you get a completely free Nebula subscription. While Nebula is a platform for educational and content creators with your favorite YouTubers, CuriosityStream is a streaming service with thousands of documentaries and non-fiction titles, which also has its own deal for a limited time on their annual plan, with a 26% discount. So, if you want to learn more about reef expeditions, the genetic revolution, or Japanese wildlife, among many other things, the price is under $15 for a whole year. Getting the bundle makes sure you're watching amazing documentaries and series, as well as great videos from your favorite creators. If you're interested in joining, all you have to do is click the link in the description box below to get this exclusive offer. I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye guys!